Okay guys, welcome back to this another video. Now in the last video I said that I was going to do question 1 and question 2. However, I had some challenges, and so unfortunately that could not be the case. So this is a video accompanying that video. So basically part 2. Good. Now this question says factorize completely, as I said, continuing May 2018 question 2. Now factorize completely each of the following expressions. 1 minus 4h squared. Now when you look at this, you will see that what you would want to ask yourself first, what type of factorization am I dealing with? What exactly am I dealing with? Now based on this, you can see that you have difference of two squares. So difference of two squares is simple, right? Now remember that with difference of two squares, of course, you want to show two separate equations and show the difference in them, right? Now, when you look at the 4h squared, good? Normally, if you notice, it's a negative number. Now, when it is a negative number, remember that what two numbers multiply to make a negative? A positive and a negative. Two operations that multiply together to make a negative is a positive and a negative. So therefore, if you have 1 minus 4h squared, then those two equations that you're basically factorizing to, it has to be, one has to be a positive and one has to be a negative. Simply because when you multiply, in order to get a negative number, you have to multiply a positive number and a negative number. So this one is quite simple. So this one is 1, and of course we want to find the square root of 2, square root of 4, which is 2, and the square root of h. So it would be, I'll put in the parentheses later. So it'll be 1 minus 2h in one, and then in another one it has 1 plus 2h. Good? See there? Let me put the parentheses. Right? Let me put the parentheses. Good. So those are the two equations. Why? Simply because, right, when you have a negative operation, it's because it's as a result of a negative being multiplied with a positive. Good? Moving on to the next one. PQ minus Q squared minus 3P plus 3Q, right? How do you deal with this, right? What's the first thing you do? Now, of course, when we look at this, we realize that the PQ, the Q is squared, right? And everything else is not squared. Now, when you look at this now, we're going to divide this equation into 2. Let me use my spotlight here. I'm going to divide this equation into 2. Good? Now, I'll be focusing on the PQ minus Q squared. Good. Now, factorization mostly deals with what is common. Now, when I look at the PQs, ignore this, right? When I look at the PQ minus the Q squared, what is the first thing? What is common out of this statement here? What is in both of them? The Q. The Q is in both of them. Good? So therefore, you would put Q, because as you notice, Q is in PQ and Q is in Q squared. Good. Now, is there anyone that is common? No. Simply because the P is not in the Q squared. So we'll add our bracket now. Now, when we look at this now, what is left? We are basically going to write what is left in the bracket, which is after you take away the Q from the PQ, you're left with P. Good? And after you take the Q from the Q square, of course, you are left with Q. And of course, we still maintain the negative sign. Good? We still maintain the negative because no positive has come into play. Because after we took this is still a positive, right? Good. This is still a negative. Good. Now, P minus, then maintaining it, minus Q. Good. Now that's one section. Now let us look at the other section now. Now this is actually where it gets complicated because the first part we dealt with mostly positive numbers. If you notice, this negative 3p plus 3q. Now the first thing we want to ask ourselves, what is common? The 3 is common, right? The 3 is what is common. Good. Now we're going to, of course, divide. Good. So this divided by this, of course, you would get the negative 3 because this is a negative, right? So what is common here? 3. Put back the negative sign. Good. What is left? What is left here? Because remember, all right, let me put it in a bracket, basically. Say it's an invisible bracket. Let us look at the equation overall. Good. Now, 3p and 3q, right? The common factor is 3. However, you may want to ask, why is it negative? Good. No, we don't necessarily have to figure out why it's negative. Now we would just continue to say that 3p into 3 into 3p. Good. We don't have to get into the whole, complicated thing that this is a minus number, because if you notice, if this is seen as, the equation that links both of these, the operation that links both of these, then we don't have to get in all of the technical, working out, right? So with the whole negative thing, why is it negative? I won't confuse you guys with that. I'm going to do it in the basic format. Good. So 3 into 3p, right, of course, is 3. Good. So just pretend that this operation is joining those two, right? It's still negative 3, yes, but I want you guys to get the whole essence of what I am doing. Good. Because this is the part that doesn't really pose a challenge. This part normally poses a challenge. Good. So 3 into positive. This is where it goes now. 3p, and it's a negative. This is where this is the important part. 3p negative. Good. Into positive 3p. So negative 3p into positive 3p. Remember that when you divide a positive and a negative, you get a negative. Good. So therefore, this, I'll put the bracket. Of course, you know what is left for the first part is p, and you put minus q. Good. No, you might not get, maybe you might be a bit confused about this equation, right? Let me explain it further. Now, you see, normally I break this into 2, good? And I deal with over here, so first. So, all right, P into PQ is, Q into PQ is Q, and leave the P, right? Q into Q square is Q, good? leave the Q. Of course, you know what is left. You put in the brackets, right? Minus. Now, I'm saying that I don't want to get too complicated. I was trying, but I just thought about it. And I'm saying I don't want to get you guys confused. No, I don't want to focus on this sign as yet, right? So 3 is the common ground, of course, 3 here. And of course, you notice it's a positive and negative. So positive and negative make a negative. Good. So let's not get into all of that. Good. Now 3 into 3p, 3 right here, put the 3 right there. That's the remainder. However, when it comes on to this now, it's a negative number. So negative 3 into 3p. Remember, when you divide a positive and a negative, you get a negative. So it's negative 1 that is left, right? You just put q because you know that it's 1. So it is negative q. Good? Now, moving on. Okay, next question. Now, solve each of the following equations. 3 over 2, y equal 12. Simple thing, right? So you want to make y the subject. Of course, the first thing you do, you deal with the division. You don't want to get rid of that. So you multiply both sides by 2. Good? When you multiply both sides by 2, then you will say, of course, 12 times 2. So it would be equal to 3y equal 24, because of course 12 times 2 is 24. And of course you divide 3 by both sides because you want y to be the subject and y is multiplied by 3. So 3y divided by 3 is equal to 24 divided by 3, and of course y is equal to 8. Good. Moving on to this one now. This one is a little more tricky, right? So this one is asking 2x2, right? 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. How do you work this out, right? How do you work this out? You may be asking yourself. Now remember, this is the basic. This is one of a factorization question now, Good. Now, of course, we will not trouble the 2x. Let me put back the 2x. Bear in mind, I will put the 2x afterwards. Good? Because I don't want to confuse anybody. You know what? I'll be putting the 2x there just with a different color. So the yellow, oops. All right, that won't work. Yes. 2x. I'll be putting the numbers up top. So good. Now this is the next step. Good. Now we see 5. We want to know what are the factors of 5. Good. Because you see 5, we want to break up 5 into 2. What are the factors of 5? Think about it. Remember in the previous question that we did, we had 4. And we wanted to divide it. We could easily divide it by 2. Good? So that we could work one side and work the other side. The same thing with this. We want to divide this so that we want to put this in 2 so that we could work over here so and over here so. Good? Now we need to find those 2 factors that are feasible for this. Right? So think about it. What factors? Good? It doesn't have to be multiplication, it's subtraction and addition. Good? You know that 2 plus 3 equal 5. Now, you would have to find the number, right? You'd have to find the number that, good. Now, that number, those numbers, they would need, when multiplied, the A and B factors. So I'm going to call this A, I'm going to call this B, I'm going to call this C. Now, A times C should give the number, and when those two numbers are added, they should give this B factor, right? Now, 2 times 3, of course, is 6. Good? 2 times 3 is 6, negative 6. 2 times negative 3, I should say, because if you notice, negative 3. Good? So 2 times negative 3 is 6. Now, do those add up to give? So let's think about it. 2 plus negative 3, that would not add up to 5, right? 3, negative 3 plus 2, that still would not add up to 5. Good, so we have to use different factors, right? So what about 1 times negative 1, that is negative 1 plus 6. Negative 1 plus 6 gives 5, right? And when multiplied, because negative 1 times 6, right, gives the same number as this, right? Negative, right? It gives a negative number. Good. So this is 2 times negative 3 equals negative 6. And negative 1 times 6 gives you negative 6. And negative 6 plus 1, no, that could not work because that does not add up to this. So you'd have to do it the other way around, where you say negative 1 plus 6. So 2x2, don't mind that I didn't put the square there. 6x minus x minus 3. Good, let me repeat that again. In the meantime, let me add the square. Good, let me repeat it again. Yeah, that is 2. Now, we need, in order to solve this equation, we need to find the number that adds, when they're added, the two numbers that when they're added, they add up to 5, and when they're subtracted, when they're multiplied, they give the same product as this, A and C multiplied. Good? So A and C multiplied is negative 6, because negative 3 times negative 2. And 5, right? It needs to add up to get 5. Good. Now we found this. 6 and negative 1. 6 and negative 1. 6 times negative 1 gives the same negative 6 like 2 and negative 3, right? And 6 plus negative 1, it would be 5, or you could even say negative 1 plus 6 would be still be 5. So that is those are the two numbers that are feasible. Of course, equal to 0, right? Good. So basically, as I said before, you find what is common. So what is common between 2x2 and 6x, right? 2x. Good, because 2x into 2x into 2x squared is x. Good, so let me write that, 2x, and then I put the bracket here. 2x into 2x2 leaves x, right? Plus, because everything there is a positive, right? Plus 2x into 6x is so much? 2 into 6 is 3. Good. 2x into x is x. So therefore, no more x. Good. No, negative part, no. You see, because there's no number there, of course, we know that when there's no number, it's negative 1. Good. So negative 1 into x is how much? Negative 1 into x is x. Good. Negative 1 into negative 1x. Right? Negative x is the same thing as negative 1x. Good. So negative 1 into negative x is x. So you have negative 1 bracket x. Negative 1 into negative 3. This is a tricky one. When you're dividing a negative by a negative, or you're multiplying a negative by a negative, you get a positive. So therefore, negative 1 into negative 3, you get negative sorry, not negative, positive. That is positive 3. Good. And of course, when we put this together, right, we put these two together. So notice that these two in the bracket are the same, right? So therefore, you put these two together. So you say 2x minus 1 in brackets and x plus 3. X plus 3. Let me add the brackets. Good. Bam, 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 bam. Good. Right. Next question. Moving on. The last part of questions. Of question. Right? Now, next question. The quantities F, M, U, V, and T are related according to the formula F equal M in bracket V minus U close bracket divided by T. Now, the first question asks you find the value of F when M equals 3, U equal -1, V equals 2, and T equal 1. So first thing, let us write the formula. So F equal M open bracket V minus U, right, close bracket, everything divided by T. Now, the first thing that we would do is that we would substitute the values, meaning that we'd write what they mean. So M is what? 3. Good. And in bracket now, put in the brackets. V is what? 2. U is what? -1. Of course, it's minus, so you know that you would have to still put the minus sign, right? And T is what? Everything is divided by T. What is T? T is 1. Good? Good. Now, let me rewrite this because 2 negative sign make a positive. So it'll be 2 plus 1. Good? Divided by 1. Good? So, of course, let us add what is in the bracket. Always do what is in the bracket first. Always, before any operation. Good? So it's 3, therefore, times whatever is in the bracket. Right? Because you know that when you have the two numbers beside each other like that, you know that is multiply. Good? When I have them in bracket and single number, multiply as shown here. So 3 times what is in the bracket, which is 2 plus 1 is 3. Of course, 3 times 3. Good? And it's divided by 1 same way. Now, since it's divided by 1, you know that you get the same answer. So you don't have to put the 1. Good? Good? So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 divided by 1 is, of course, 9. So 9 is the answer. So that's a quite simple one. Good. Now to the complicated one now, wherein you're asked, you're required to make V the subject of the formula, making V the subject. Good. First things first, always write the formula. Good. I always tell people, write the formula for any working out that you do. The first thing you do, you write in your head what is given. You don't write it on the paper, that would take time. Good. So you write in your head what is given to me, and then you write the first thing, the formula. Good. CXC loves that. Now, firstly, let me write the formula. So F equal M open bracket V minus U close bracket divided by T. Good? Now we want to make what the subject? We want to make V the subject. So first things first. The first thing that we want to deal with is what? The division. Because the division, if we leave the division, it's going to cause a lot of confusion. So of course, we multiply T by both sides. So this side times T and this side times T. So therefore, FT, of course, you know when it's together like this, it's multiplied. So FT is equal to m open bracket v minus u. Good? That's the first thing we do. Good? Now, what you may want to do is that you may want to factorize. So ft, right? What is common here? Good? So you may want to expand. Let me not say factorize. Factorize is not the right term to use. You want to expand the bracket. So m times v is mv. Good? And of course, you would still put the minus sign. Good? Because m times negative u is equal to negative mu. Because guess what? You're multiplying a positive with a negative. Let me go over that again. Good? M, positive m times negative u, right? Since you're multiplying a positive with a negative, would give you negative mu. Good? So that's how you would expand the bracket. Good. Oops. That's how you would expand the brackets, right? Good. Moving on. Now, what do we want to do then? We want to make v the subject. So we can get rid of this because this now have nothing with v. So we would add mu on both sides. So therefore, ft plus mu equals mv, right? Good. No, we want to get rid of this m. We want to get rid of this m because the m is what is multiplied to the v, and we want to make v the subject, don't we? So what we do, we divide m by both sides. When we divide m by both sides, we get what? ft plus mu. I'm going to fill in the space there. Of course, divided by m is equal to v. Let me write in the divided by. Yeah, let me put something there. Text, right. Good. So that would be the answer, right? In case you guys haven't had a grasp of what I just explained, let me go over it once more. Now, first things first, what we would do is that we would write the formula. So we write the formula and it's F equal M open bracket V minus U close bracket divided by T. Now, of course, the first thing that we want to get rid of is the division because the division would cause a lot of confusion. So we multiply the T by both sides. So therefore, we get FT equal, let me get my spotlight here. FT equal M open bracket V minus U close bracket. Now, we don't want to deal with any brackets when we're finding the subject. So what do? We expand the bracket, right? So M, positive M times positive V gives you positive MV. Positive m times negative u, positive and negative there give you a negative mu. So therefore, it's ft equal mv minus mu. Good? Now, we want to get rid of this mu because this is what we want to make the subject the v. And of course, the m is attached to the v. Good? And this has no part with it, so we want to get rid of this. So how do we get rid of this? We add it to both sides. So therefore, you would get ft plus mu equals mv. Good. Now, we still have one thing left to get rid of, which is the m. And the m, it's multiplied by the v. So in order to get rid of the m, you divide the m by both sides. When you divide the m by both sides, you get ft plus mu over m equals v. Good? Now, this is the end of question 2 of May 2008 CSEC paper, CSEC paper. Now I hope you have learned something from these two videos of mine, and I hope you will share this video, share this as much as you can to other persons so that they can be able to understand. And of course, comment, please send your comment what you like about the video, and I guess I'll see you next time, because in the future I hope to make more videos. And so comment, like, subscribe, comment your opinion as to what you think about the video, and of course, yeah. So I'll see you next time.